broadcast to over 500 million viewers each week. The World Wrestling Federation, the worldwide leader in sports entertainment.
Last Monday night, as Stone Cold Steve Austin took on the Anvil, the mastermind of the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart, unfolded yet another scheme designed to ensure victory for his team. The Hitman, who had alleged he was in Canada, assaulted an unsuspecting Ken Shamrock, leaving the most dangerous man nearly incapacitated. From there, the Hitman aimed and fired on his #1 enemy, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Whoa! That's a figure four. Bret Hart gonna try to break Austin's leg. The Hitman wants to break Austin's leg. Oh no, he got it! He got it! Oh no! Stone Cold Steve Austin's knee looked as if it would sustain permanent damage until mankind would repel the ruthless Hitman with the mandible claw. Tonight, the Hart Foundation is here. Will their brazen bedlam continue? Can anyone stop this evil association? Is in the house. We'll get a word from Bret Hart and his boys.
The Undertaker's deep, dark secret has been revealed, and you'll get the whole story right here tonight.
Plus, Savio has some new amigos. We'll see the Boricuas in action right here tonight on Shotgun. Saturday night. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Shotgun Saturday Night. I'm Jim Ross, alongside James E. Cornette, who is stepping in for the terminated Brian Pillman.
They fired Brian Pillman just because he pulled one of these fans out of the audience. If I was him, I'd have done the same thing. As a matter of fact, I may pick one upside down and shake him for change here tonight.
What a night it's going to be tomorrow night on pay-per-view. The Canadian Stampede, a huge 10-man tag team war tomorrow night on pay-per-view. And I'm sure Bret Hart and his boys have a lot to say.
I would suspect the reception that you gentlemen are going to receive this Sunday night on pay-per-view in Calgary will be somewhat different than the one you just received.
Well, I think finally we're going to get the respect that we deserve. You know, the American wrestling fans, for the longest time, they've had the opportunity to cheer on their scum heroes like Goldust, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Legion of Doom, Ken Shamrock. But when they come across that border, it's going to be a whole different story. Because what we got here is 5 different versions of Donovan Bailey. And we don't need any excuses. We are just going to go in there and pound these guys in the dirt just like they deserve. We've got the strongest guy in the World Wrestling Federation today right here, the British Bulldog. We got Brian Pillman, a man that has no limits. We got Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And trust me, I love this guy like a brother, and he will be there to the end, through the thick and the thin. And best of all, I got the best technical wrestler in the history of the World Wrestling Federation, my lovable brother Owen. Together, we are the greatest combined force of the World Wrestling Federation, and I'm not in a wheelchair anymore. I'm not on crutches, and there is no stopping the Hart Foundation till we get every single trophy and every single title in the World Wrestling Federation. The Hart Foundation is going to rule the World Wrestling Federation from here on in, whether you American wrestling fans like it or not.
What about this respect you wanted? What about your legacy, Bret Hart? What have you done When are you going to do things you said you were going to bring people back around? You were going to be a hero. This is being a hero.
He is a hero.
When you get to Canada, you'll see that I'm still every bit of the hero that I ever was. And here in the United States, where these people take pride in spitting on me and throwing coins at me, well, in Canada, I'll finally get the respect that I deserve.
You want respect? I would suggest that Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to give he and his partners, a lot of you gentlemen, respect. And maybe you know that better than anybody.
He'll get nothing like it. Austin's a perfect example of what America has become. The social depravity. They cheer this guy. He's a bum. He's a loser. He doesn't have the class. He doesn't have the integrity. He doesn't have the intestinal fortitude of the dynasty.
And what happens when the Legion of Doom gets their hands on you and Oath?
They're going to find out who the World Wrestling Federation, the real World Wrestling Federation tag team champions are. But when we step in the ring with the Legion of Doom, they're going down. Steve Austin's going to find himself a tag team partner, and they're going down, and the belts are going back around their waist where they rightfully belong.
And what about all this gold, and what about dealing with gold dust?
We're not scared of gold dust. We don't have to be gender benders to go out and kick some ass. When we get in the ring, we are going to destroy everybody. We don't need pretty little makeup on our face like LOD. We don't have to walk around cursing like Stone Cold Steve Austin. We don't have to be a gender bender, and we're not the ultimate fighting goofballs like Ken Shamrock. What we are is true men.
One last word from the Anvil.
You know something, McMahon? You got a lot of questions, but all your questions are going to be answered by the Hart Foundation in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are the Hart Foundation.
They may be the greatest assemblage of talent in the history of the World Wrestling Federation. And tomorrow night, the 5 most popular superstars of the WWF take them on in a city where they can do no wrong.
Folks, it's the Canadian Stampede, live from the Saddle Dome in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. What a 10-man tag team war it's going to be exclusively on pay-per-view tomorrow night. Whatever you do, folks, don't miss this big event. Order it now.
Can you imagine bearding the lions in their den in Calgary and still to come? It's the Truth Commission. And you know what they say? Sometimes the truth hurts.
But when we return, The Undertaker's secret has been revealed. Stay tuned for the most shocking story of the year. Welcome back to Shotgun. For weeks, Paul Bearer threatened to reveal a secret The Undertaker had kept quiet for years. Finally, unable to control the WWF champion with this secret, the Bio manager spun this gruesome tale.
We're going to have to go back a few years, Mr. McMahon. About 20 years to be exact. We're talking about a little funeral home sitting up on a hill, beautiful oak trees all around, and a wonderful, wonderful family-owned funeral home. The family lived upstairs. The father was the mortician who ran the funeral home. The mother was the secretary, the receptionist, but there were 2 little kids there. One kid was a little red-headed punk, and then there was a second kid, a sweet little kid, named Kane. Now, I was the apprentice at the funeral home. I worked under the red-headed punk's father, who by now you probably know is The Undertaker. I was leaving to go to school. As I backed my car out of the funeral home, I looked behind, and who do I see? That red-head devil seed Undertaker with his little brother. Something was funny. Something didn't seem right. But I went ahead and backed out of the driveway and went to school. I came back from school about 10 o'clock that night, and what do I see? I see fire trucks. I see and I see the funeral home in ashes. Someone burned down the funeral home. Inside the funeral home was this lovely family that took care of me. I looked over to the bushes. Who did I see in the bushes but the Undertaker? Undertaker, you burnt the funeral home to the ground. And along with the funeral home, you killed your parents. You killed your family, Undertaker! Undertaker, you are a murderer! You are a murderer, Undertaker! You're a damn murderer!
Later, an obviously upset and distraught Undertaker responded with these remarks.
It is true. My mother, my father, and my little brother burnt to death in the family funeral home. But I think it's important that we have all the facts straight. Yes, Kane and I were playing with matches that day. And we were punished when my father found us. And after he punished me, he sent me on my way to do my daily chores. And as I was leaving the funeral home, I looked back and I seen Kane leaving out one of the rear doors of the embalming room. And I seen that he had those liquids in his hand. You know, it never occurred to me what he was going to do. I thought nothing of it. And I live with that fact every day of my life. Kane was my responsibility. He was my little brother. As I returned to the funeral home from doing my chores, I could hear the sirens. I could see the smoke filling the sky. Without knowing, I knew it was a day that changed me forever. For me to be able to deal with the death of my family, I had to look at death. I had to understand that without death, there cannot be life. I draw strength from the spirit of the dead, and that spirit of my mother, of my father, and of my little brother will strike you down, pallbearer. Will strike you down.
The Undertaker didn't wait long to act on this promise, but it was the man from the dark side who was in for a surprise when he sought revenge.
Here comes the Undertaker!
to be in shock.
that his brother is alive. Is it true?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Whether it's true or not, you got to believe the Undertaker is thinking about everything but Vader and that WWF title defense tomorrow night on pay-per-view.
Undertaker has been publicly branded as a man who murdered his parents. He's just found out after 20 years that the brother he thought was dead may still be alive. And you got to wonder what's running through his mind. He's had no time to prepare. Could he be thinking about what his brother might look like, whether he has more family, or even if the guy that he passes on the street might be his brother and he didn't even know it? Vader's a dangerous man to go in the ring with, even when you've prepared. When you've got this much on your mind, I'd say we may be looking at a new WWF champion.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk more about that in this broadcast. Now, still to come, the leader of the Los Boricuas, Savio Vega, takes on Flash Funk.
And the Truth Commission when we come back in six-man tag team action.
When you're labeled a traitor, an outcast who's lost touch with reality, there truly is no place like home. When you're a rebel, a renegade, hell-bent on destruction, you'll invade enemy territory to exact revenge. Bret Hart and the entire Hart Foundation defend their turf against Stone Cold, Goldust, Ken Shamrock, and the Legion of Doom in a 10-man tag team war. In your house, Canadian Stampede, tomorrow night on pay-per-view.
Well, whatever you do, folks, don't be left out. Call your cable company now and order the Canadian Stampede tomorrow night on pay-per-view. Here comes the Truth Commission.
Six-man tag team match is scheduled for one fall. Approaching the ring, led by the Commandant at a combined weight of 978 pounds, the Truth Commission. Their opponent at a combined weight of 687 pounds, the team of Kevin Flynn, Steele, and Adam O'Brien.
Well, folks, we're ready for six-man tag team action here, and certainly what more can be said about the Undertaker situation. I've just got to believe, James E. Cornette, that the Undertaker has thought all week about his brother, where is his brother, the whole family situation, and has thought very little about defending the WWF title tomorrow night on pay-per-view against Vader.
And what a crossroads the Undertaker has to be at, because in his hands, his most prized possession, what he has wanted for so long, the WWF title, but now suddenly it pales in comparison to the fact that he still has a family member alive, if he believes Colbert.
The Commandant, not the most popular individual here in the arena this week. The South African Truth Commission, comprised of 4 members now. Sniper, the newest member, added to the Truth Commission, and that will be Recon, starting out in this six-man tag team matchup against Adam O'Brien.
And you know, he may not be a new member, he's just new to us. I've heard tales that the Commandant in South Africa has dozens of these guys. It's like a militia that he's formed, and he trains them and drills them every single day.
Certainly we've seen a lot of gang warfare on Monday nights on the War Zone, and it looks as if the Commandant is readying his troops, so to speak, for some War Zone Monday night. And what a clothesline there, right in the throat of Adam O'Brien. Wow, this Recon looks to be about 6'7", maybe 6'8", a big man. Sunset flip there. And O'Brien using a little bit of quickness.
O'Brien is opening up, and he better keep the pressure on, because if he doesn't, he's going to be cooked. Take a look at this again. Watch the impact. He almost knocked him out with that right hand.
O'Brien's knees buckle on impact, and now the tag has been made. It's going to be Kevin Flynn being tagged in. And Recon going the entire way thus far for the Truth Commission.
Well, Recon's doing exactly what his name implies. He's checking out the enemy and seeing what they got.
Big foot right to the face. And certainly that will change the complexion not only of the young man's face, but of the match as well.
You know, JR, you can't come to the WWF alone anymore. You got to bring some friends. We've got the Nation of Domination, the Disciples of Apocalypse, the Truth Commission, the Boricuas that we're going to see later on. I mean, this is getting serious, gang style.
And certainly not to leave out the Hart Foundation, maybe the most powerful gang of them all. And what a move there.
Wow.
That's a sniper in there. We're seeing him for the first time here with the South African Truth Commission. And this is another big man. Looks to be 6'5", maybe 6'6". And a pump handle slam. A lot of high impact stuff. And here comes a 7-footer.
Business just picked up, JR.
You're not
this
kidding.
guy, he is unbelievable, and look at the way he moves.
The interrogator, through the neck, through the shoulders of this freak of nature. He's got to be 7 feet tall if he's an inch.
He has no neck. His head goes straight into his chest.
A hip block throw back into the corner. And Chris Steele now will try his luck on the 7-foot interrogator of the South African Truth Commission.
Look at this. Everything the guy throws at him, he's standing there and taking it and asking for more. This interrogator, if I knew a secret, I'd tell him if he asked.
A headbutt that knocks down Steele by the interrogator. And certainly the commandant.
God. Look at that face.
Despicable human being. Hope nobody's having a late night snack on that one.
I believe it. It may come back up.
And O'Brien comes in. And look at the strength. Ooh. This giant of a man, the interrogator, now making the tag again to Sniper. Of course, the masked man, Tank, more or less, I guess, the bodyguard for this week of the commandant.
From what I've heard about the commandant, he needs somebody watching his back at all times.
O'Brien with a head and shoulder fake, across body, but only got one that time. The Truth Commission really hasn't been in any serious trouble thus far in this 6-man tag team matchup.
But I'll tell you what, O'Brien's got an opening now, and he better make the most of it.
O'Brien runs right into another foot, ducks the clothesline, comes back with a right hand.
Kid's got guts.
I'll tell you what, tomorrow night on pay-per-view will be a gut check. 10-man tag team action. Somebody, I just got a gut feeling, is going to be carried out of the Canadian Saddledome, the Calgary's Saddledome, for the Canadian Stampede on pay-per-view.
Watch this. What do they do? Ducks him. Whoa!
Big sidewalk slam. And that 7-footer putting the exclamation point on this 6-man tag team matchup. If it's gang warfare you want on Monday nights, it's gang warfare you're going to get.
America, blood on it, blood.
The Commandant's got to be happy. The Truth Commission with authority of victory. Watch this. O'Brien evades one man, but he couldn't get out of the way of the other one. If the right one don't get you, JR, the left one will.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you something. We talked about gang warfare. We mentioned the Boricuas. Well, Savio Vega is the leader of the Boricuas. We know Savio was fired from the Nation of Domination, as was Crush. Well, we know Crush has formed the Disciples of Apocalypse. But Savio has retaliated as well. Savio Vega, this past Monday night on Raw, introduced us all to his new amigos, the Boricuas.
Last week, you take a good shot of Savio Vega because I was by myself. You no fire Savio Vega. I quit. Savio Vega's here tonight to get revenge, Farouk.
Well, listen to this. If you want revenge, don't you jump your jalapeno pitch in this ring right now and get it over.
Whoa. I will.
Hey, look at this. Here comes Savio's gang again. Apparently Savio has put a gang together. There's 4 of them. There are 3 of the Nation of Domination.
It's gang warfare in the WWF, and who knows where it's going to end.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away, because coming up next, we'll see Savio and the Boricuas meet Flash Punk. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey!
Let go of my leg.
Would they quit doing that?
Take your hands off me.
Oh, now quit. I've got a bad heart.
You haven't got a heart. Well, I'll tell you what, the fireworks continuing here. Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. No doubt fireworks tomorrow night on pay-per-view in Calgary. The emotion in the Saddledome is going to be absolutely electrifying. So many great activities connected with the Calgary Stampede, much like we we had last Saturday in Southern California. We'd like to take you back to last weekend and show you a glimpse of the activities in California. Muscle Beach, the site of, well, public workout. There's Sonny, Ken Shamrock, and a lot of good fans.
I'm stronger than China.
Yeah, we're not talking about your breath, you little rat.
Come
Well,
on.
the festivities at Muscle Beach couldn't compare to that evening at the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim when the WWF came live to Southern California, and what action they had on tap, JR, including the California Tan Contest, Marlena, Sonny, Savio, and a very uncooperative China. I was suggesting you probably get a better outfit.
Well, China didn't respond too much to Honky Tonk Man's advice. Sonny was making $1 or $2. Marlena was mugging for the camera. But one thing's for sure, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the California Tan Contest was Savio.
Well, she's got two things going for her. Her personality and her tan, and whoa! And Honky Tonk wanted a little kiss, and he sure didn't get it the way he wanted it.
Honky Tonk Man wanted a little smack, and that's exactly what he got. And here comes Savio Vega. And look at the new ring attire of Savio, complete with that new lid.
Where's the Boricuas? Or as Finkel would say, the Boricuas.
Well, I don't know. That's a very good question, James Z., because I assume that the Boricuas would be here with their leader, Savio Vega. Maybe it's a good thing for Flash Funk that they are not.
Well, Flash Funk is going to have his work cut out for him because, in my opinion and in my mind, Savio Vega, one of the most underrated competitors in the World Wrestling Federation. This guy has beaten some of the best. He always is out there at 100%, and he's a crafty veteran.
You know, I think the same can be said for Flash Funk as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, but he's got the funk, and penicillin won't even take that out of you.
Savio Vega starting out very aggressively here on Flash Funk. I think this is going to be a very intense matchup. The relentless ground attack of Savio Vega against the high-flying aerial abilities, a hard knife-edge chop of Flash Funk. Two very diverse styles, but two very experienced and spirited athletes. And Flash going upstairs with a drop kick. Savio on the outside. And Flash with both feet right on the chest of Savio Vega.
Flash Funk skins the cat. It looks like he's going to fly, JR.
Flash Funk keeping Savio Vega off balance.
Savio saw him coming and got out of the way, but he missed that one too.
Flash going for a baseball slide there and a straight kick. A straight martial arts kick by Savio Vega, certainly stopping the quickness and the momentum being generated by Flash Funk here.
Boy, you talk about the gang warfare in the WWF, Los Boricuas, the Nation of Domination, and of course the Disciples of Apocalypse. All three of these four-member conflagrations are really at each other's throats.
Look at this. We're being joined, it looks like, by the Boricuas. This doesn't look good for Flash Funk. Folks, will be right. Flash Funk, no, it's reversed by Savio Vega in the Irish whip. And another spinning heel kick by Savio Vega. And Flash Funk is in trouble. Welcome back, everyone, to Shotgun Saturday Night. Jim Ross alongside James E. Cornette. Thanks for staying with us. One-on-one competition here. Savio Vega, the leader of the Boricuas. And the Boricuas are here at ringside meeting Flash Funk.
Savio, he missed it. Nobody was home. Tremendous agility on both these guys' parts for somebody their size. But it's looking bad for Flash Funk because his offensive spurt is grounded by the fact that he has three more of the Boricuas around the ring.
Nice martial arts kick there by Flash Funk. Flash going for the cover. He's got a near fall, and Savio gets the right shoulder up. Well, I'll tell you what, there's absolutely no love lost between the Boricuas and the Disciples of Apocalypse. And there's a great moonsault. That should be all, but Savio kicks out.
He didn't do it with authority. He almost got it.
Savio and Crush certainly had a lot of problems when they were both members of the Nation of Domination. And they haven't mended their fences since forming their own organizations. And another martial arts kick. That should be all, and it is.
He did get him. Flash went for that Hurricane Rana, JR, and Savio turned it into a hot shot maneuver and then a spinning heel kick, and that was
Here they come. Here come the disciples of Apocalypse, led by Crush. Those four big monsters on those Harley-Davidson motorcycles making their way to the ring here. And, hey, Flash, thanks for dropping in. Well, this ain't going to be no motorcycle rally. This is going to be another fight, you got to believe. And everybody is trying to mark their territory, to establish their turf. And as we documented, no love lost between Savio and Crush. Consequently, no love lost between the DOA and the Boricuas, and the fight is on.
The Boricuas weren't backing up a step. They came right at the DOA as soon as they came in the ring. They paired off, and the fists are flying.
Every gang in the WWF trying to gain superiority here. The black-clad motorcycle gang, the DOA, and here comes security. Here come WWF referees.
They got to get some cops in here. They got to get somebody with a nightstick or something. This thing isn't going to be broken up by a bunch of guys in suits and ties.
They're fighting all over the ring, 8 men, now trying to be restrained here. This whole situation could erupt any moment.
Hey, there is a cop. We've got some cops on the way to the ring right now.
Uniformed police officers hitting the ring, and maybe these two outlaw gangs will show just a little bit of respect, or maybe some semblance of intelligence, and break it up here.
I think they're going to honor what those guys are packing on their hips.
Well, folks, order's being restored here, but when we come back, it's young Scott Putski in light heavyweight action. Welcome back, everyone, to Shotgun Saturday Night. Scott Putski on his way to the ring. But quite a situation this past Monday on Raw. It was Scott Putski meeting Brian Christopher. Jerry the King Lawler was at ringside, and Lawler, in my opinion, James E., cost Putski the victory.
Well, he was trying to help out Brian Christopher, but Putski, with a little misdirection, Lawler goes off the apron of the ring, and Putski looks like he had Brian Christopher right where he wanted him, but he backed up too close to Jerry the King Lawler.
And Lawler, with the unfair advantage, in other words, he cheated and helped his own son, Brian Christopher, win the contest.
Now, wait a minute. No, but he has not said that Brian Christopher is his son. That lying, gum-bumping sack of snake feces, Paulie Dangerously, is the one who said Brian Christopher was Lawler's son. We haven't heard that from the truthful lips of the King.
The truthful lips of the King. I think that's an oxymoron.
Hey, pimple medicine has nothing to do with this.
And speaking of the lips of the King, we want to apologize, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of everybody here at the WWF for the derogatory remarks about Polish Americans made by Jerry the King Lawler this past Monday on Raw. They were distasteful and classless, and we sincerely apologize.
Hey, JR, you know what you get when you cross a Polish woman with a pig?
What are you saying?
Nothing. There's some things even a pig won't do.
Hey, stop that. A near fall there.
Putski stayed up all night one time studying for a urine test.
If I were you, I'd watch what I say about the Putski family. From what I understand, Hall of Famer Ivan Putski was irate after what he saw Monday on Raw when Jerry Lawler and his kid double-teamed Scott Putski.
Oh, yeah, I hear Ivan Putski. He's contemplating some kind of action. Well, let me tell you something. As far as I'm concerned, you know, Ivan Putski and Scott, they had a close relationship. Ivan used to walk Scott to school every day. Came in handy because they were in the same grade.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Hey, you're not immune to the Polish Hammer as well.
Hey, I got 1 million of them.
Scott Putski has a great future, I think, in the light heavyweight division. And we'll see two of the greatest light heavyweights in the entire world. A man that is ranked by most wrestling experts as the #1 light heavyweight in the world, the great Sasuke, on the pay-per-view tomorrow night from Calgary, taking on Taka Michinoko, another top 5 ranked light heavyweight athlete.
I will say this, you'll see some things. Oh, look at that from the great Sasuke that you've never seen before. And it looks like Scott Putski signaling for his old man's signature move, the Polish Hammer.
Bell set for the ride, and boom, there it is. The Polish Hammer right in the sternum by young Scott Putski. And if I were Jerry Lawler and his little punky son, I would be looking over my shoulder at that young man, Scott Putski, and the Hall of Famer, Ivan Putski.
I'm going to tell Jerry Lawler exactly what you said, and Brian Christopher, too.
Please do.
And you can see right here, Scott Putski, he does have his old man's form. Unfortunately, he's also got his old man's brain, and that's the size of a pea.
Ladies and gentlemen, Savio's Boricuas are in action next against the new Blackjacks.
When you're labeled a traitor, an outcast who's lost touch with reality, there truly is no place like home. When you're a rebel, a renegade hell-bent on destruction, you'll invade enemy territory to exact revenge. Bret Hart and the entire Hart Foundation defend their turf against Stone Cold, Goldust, Ken Shamrock, and the Legion of Doom in a 10-man tag team war. In your house, Canadian Stampede, tomorrow night on pay-per-view.
The following tag team contest is scheduled for one fall. Coming down the aisle, representing the Boricuas at a total combined weight of 463 pounds, Jesus and Miguel.
Well, this should be a most interesting matchup. We don't know quite what to expect. This is the first time that we've had the opportunity to see Savio's Boricuas in the tag team action. It will be Jesus and Miguel.
Well, one thing we won't have to worry about, I understand the disciples of Apocalypse have been kicked out of the building and maybe even taken downtown to be booked.
Well, that wouldn't be new for those guys, don't think.
They got a record as long as my arm.
Boy, look at these two big Texans. Justin Hawk Bradshaw, Barry Windham, Blackjack Bradshaw, Blackjack Windham. And anytime you see these two guys in tag team action, you know the matchup you're about to see is going to be rough and rugged.
That's right, the Blackjacks are rough, tough, and hard to bluff, guaranteed. Not the ref, Bart, collect dust, pin, break, or splinter, but JR, they are outnumbered. They have the size advantage over Los Boricuas, but they definitely don't have the numbers advantage.
The Blackjacks looking forward to returning to their home state of Texas on Monday night, July the 14th in San Antonio. All our fans in San Antonio looking forward to joining us for Raw is War on Monday night, July the 14th. And it will be Miguel and Blackjack Bradshaw starting it out here in this tag team matchup.
Boy, Miguel has a beautiful cashmere sweater on underneath his t-shirt.
Well, he is rather hairy. And nice move, boot to the belly. Bradshaw overpowering Miguel, and Miguel is able to kick out. Here comes Jesus, and Jesus knocked back in his corner, and then brought out of the corner by Windham.
These Blackjacks will trade them with you in a heartbeat. They'll swing them just as fast as they can.
Ooh, double back body drops by the big Texans. And as we mentioned, Monday, July 14th in San Antonio will also be the finals of the WWF Tag Team Tournament. It will be either the Hart Foundation or the New Nation, who meet this Monday from Edmonton, by the way, meeting Stone Cold Steve Austin and whomever Austin selects as his partner. Will it be Shawn Michaels? Time will tell.
Well, all I know is that Owen and Bulldog will lock horns with the New Nation this week in the War Zone, and the winner of that match will go to the finals. And I don't know who Steve Austin's going to pick as his partner, but I know Mankind has been doing some heavy politicking to get that spot. For some reason, Mankind sees a kindred spirit in Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Double teaming now by the new Blackjacks, and a pair of elbows knocks down Miguel. Certainly tomorrow night, the pay-per-view spectacular of the summer is one you do not want to miss. 10-man tag team action. It's going to be a real war in Calgary tomorrow night on pay-per-view. Not to mention The Undertaker, who has got to be obsessed with now finding out where his brother is. If his brother really is still alive.
Look at that. He's got a little Mike Tyson in him, does Jesus, because he was biting the ear of the Blackjack.
The Boricuas, native Puerto Ricans, and they're very proud, as they should be, of their heritage. And now the two Texans make the exchange in their corner.
Well, there's Windham, and Windham, of course, we've talked about the veteran of the team. He's got the experience, but, hey, blind tag, behind the back, Miguel tag.
Wyndham's got to wear the tag. Great movement by the Boricuas, and a double team taking down the son of the legendary Blackjack Mulligan. And Windham now really needs to make a tag. More quick striking action, this time by by Miguel, knocking Wyndham over the top rope. Wait a minute. What's Miguel setting up? Here comes Jesus. What are they doing? Oh! Talk about a leg up, JR. Very unique version of a cross body. And there's the plancha by Miguel, finding its mark on the Blackjacks. These Boricuas strike with some suddenness and are showing some surprisingly good continuity as a team. Well, these guys are not strangers to each other. They're new to the WWF, but they're not new to wrestling, and they're not new to each other. They fought together on the streets and in the rings in Puerto Rico for a number of years. James E., do you think that Paul Bearer, if it's true that The Undertaker's brother is still alive, would Paul Bearer be so heinous to bring The Undertaker's brother tomorrow night to Calgary? Do you think that might be possible? I think it's, of course it's possible, and I just wonder why you accept Paulie Dangerously's word, and then you turn around and doubt a man with the integrity of Paul Bearer. I can't figure that out. Sure, I think it's possible. I think that The Undertaker has to be a man in turmoil right now. I don't know how The Undertaker can focus on meeting Vader tomorrow night on pay-per-view, knowing that he has a brother that he thought had died approximately 20 years ago. I mean, you got to separate your personal life from your professional life, and I got to believe, knowing the kind of man The Undertaker is, that family is much more important than the WWF title. Well, if his family was so important to him, why'd he burn them all down? Well, I don't want to go into that situation. There's a nice move by Miguel on Blackjack Wyndham. Heck, I'm a charitable guy. I wouldn't even do that to a dog. Head scissors on... I wouldn't even do it to you. That's how charitable I am. And you're a warm-hearted individual, aren't you? I'm a caring type of person. You'll never be on my Christmas card list, I'll tell you that, with that kind of attitude. And there's Savio Vega. Certainly has assembled apparently quite the organization here, as Jesus now is tagged in. It sounds like you sneeze every time you say his name. Why don't you pronounce it right? It's Jesus. I need to work on my... See, I'm bilingual. I knew you were bilingual, but that's another issue. And Jesus set for the ride, and a big Texas cowboy boot right in the face. He's throwing those feet around. They're going to arrest the Blackjacks for trespassing on the faces of Los Boricuas. Big, strong Blackjack Bradshaw. Chicken wing, watch this. And great move. A chicken wing suplex by Bradshaw should be all, and Jesus was just barely, and I mean barely, able to get a shoulder off the canvas. And now all four men now. Where's he go? Oh, Savio almost tripped. He almost tripped him, but there goes Miguel over the top. Blackjacks now. It's 2-on-1 there. Where are they going? And boom, what a clothesline. That'll be all. Wait a minute. Savio prevents a victory by the Blackjacks, and we've got 4-on-2 now. Referee has called for the bell, obviously. This will be a disqualification, and the Boricuas are stumping the Blackjacks with a 4-on-2 advantage. I knew it was going to happen. The Blackjacks had them outpowered, but these Los Boricuas, there's too many of them, and they're just swarming the Blackjacks. The Boricuas nothing more than a street gang, just like the DOA, just like the Nation of Domination. When will it end? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow night in Calgary on pay-per-view.